Top Things presents the 20 most powerful ships in the Star Trek universe, ranked. September 7, 2016 marked the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. Since the original series debut in 1966, the science fiction franchise has become a cult phenomenon, inspiring 4 more television series, an animated series, and a film franchise of 13 movies, not to mention the upcoming television series Star Trek: Discovery, set to premiere on CBS All Access in January 2017. Star Trek has had a lasting impact on science fiction and pop culture, with a fanbase numbering in their millions worldwide, and has been cited as an influence on several technological innovations, such as smartphones and tablets. The franchise has also been noted for its progressive and forward-thinking values. But what it's also known for are the compelling themes of exploration of the unknown, and of course, the really cool starships that every fan has dreamed of taking to the stars at one time or another. Between Romulan warbirds, Borg cubes, alien probes and planet-eating superweapons, there is no shortage of powerful and iconic ships on Star Trek. They range from the familiar and human to the aggressively dangerous and alien, from vessels designed for peaceful scientific pursuits to battleships and doomsday devices. Here are 20 of the most powerful ships ever in the Star Trek universe. Included are craft from all 5 television series and all 13 movies, including the alternate timeline. Our criteria for ranking the power of a vessel are size, speed, weaponry, crew capacity, ability to deflect destruction, and general significance for the canon TV series, the movies, and among the fanbase. 20. USS Excelsior. The prototype of her class, the Excelsior was the result of radical new technology and theories of propulsion, dubbed the Great Experiment. The ship was the first Starfleet vessel to be equipped with a transwarp drive, making it the fastest starship in the Federation at the time. Under the command of Captain Hikaru Sulu, the Excelsior fulfilled her first 3-year mission of cataloging gaseous anomalies in the Beta Quadrant, and upon returning home, survived the powerful subspace shockwave caused by the destruction of Praxis, a Klingon moon. 19. The Narada. While the Narada was a simple Romulan mining vessel in its own time in the late 24th century, it possessed far more advanced weaponry than any ship it encountered in the 23rd century. In the 2009 Star Trek movie, the time-traveling Narada attacks and easily overpowers the USS Kelvin, killing Captain Kirk's father. Later, the ship attacked a Klingon prison planet and 47 Klingon warbirds were destroyed. The Narada, under the command of Nero, also engineered the destruction of Vulcan in the alternate Star Trek timeline. Nero used the ship's immense drilling apparatus, capable of emitting a powerful beam that drilled through the planet's crust all the way to its core, where he injected the planet with red matter, creating a black hole that consumed the entire world in a matter of moments. Despite being only a mining vessel originally, the Narada possessed formidable weaponry, including missile-like projectiles which could break apart into smaller projectiles and pierce the standard starships. 18. USS Voyager. The USS Voyager was one of the earliest Intrepid-class starships launched by the Federation and featured several recent technological innovations that had become available, including bioneural circuitry, advanced sensors, variable geometry warp nacelles, and the emergency medical holographic program, that is, everyone's favorite doctor. Smaller, faster, and more maneuverable than the larger Galaxy-class vessels, Voyager was the first ship to test the Class 9 warp drive and was the only ship in Starfleet capable of cruising at warp 9.975. Like other Federation starships, Voyager was armed with phasers, shields, and photon torpedoes, though its launchers could also be modified to launch quantum torpedoes. Voyager also carried spatial charges and tricobalt devices outside the standard Starfleet armaments. Eventually, the ship would even be outfitted with 24th century technology brought back in time by a future version of Captain Janeway, including ablative generators and transphasic torpedoes capable of destroying a Borg cube in 1 or 2 direct hits. 17. USS Enterprise D. Rather than just have a shinier version of Kirk's Enterprise from the original series, the creators of Star Trek, the Next Generation decided to make a new class of starship twice the length and 8 times the interior space of the original, the Galaxy class. Perhaps the most adaptable of the main featured starships, the Enterprise D was equally capable of exploration, combat, science, patrol duty, or simply acting as a comfortable home for its 1,000-plus crew. The ship was basically a city inside. They even had a bar and lounge. 16. Deep Space Nine. Okay, so this one's technically a space station and not a ship, but seeing as how the station was at least partially mobile and the setting for an entire series, not to mention numerous space battles, it deserves an honorary slot on this list. Deep Space Nine, originally called Tarak Nor, was at first just a Cardassian mining facility. For the first 3 seasons of Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, it was a fairly standard space station administered by the Federation. 15. Nevar warship. While not as well known as the Bird of Prey, this Klingon battleship was the largest and most powerful class of starship in the service of the Klingon Empire. The original Ix Nevar was the flagship of the Klingon Imperial Fleet under the command of General Martek. The ship saw service during the Klingon-Cardassian War, where it was used to devastating effect, and during a clash with the station was able to inflict damage on a militarily refitted DS-9, able to pierce the station's shields sufficiently to transport Klingon troops aboard. 14. Romulan Warbird, the largest and most powerful of the Romulan spacecraft. Fans and the crew of the Enterprise D alike were in awe when the Romulan Warbird was first revealed. Per the Memory Alpha Wikia, the Daradex class of warbird was the backbone of the Romulan fleet during the later half of the 24th century. Romulan warbirds became synonymous with Romulan military might, and participated in several historic battles with both Starfleet and later the Dominion. During the Dominion War, they were instrumental in pushing back Jumhatter battleships. 13. USS Enterprise E. This Sovereign-class craft was considered the pinnacle of starship design when it was first launched by Starfleet. Appearing in the TNG movies from First Contact to Nemesis and referenced in both Deep Space Nine and Voyager, the fans seem to agree, as it was voted the best engineered Starfleet ship by a StarTrek.com fan poll. 12. USS Vengeance. This vessel from J.J. Abrams' alternate Star Trek timeline is scary powerful. Making its debut in Star Trek, Into Darkness, the USS Vengeance is the first and only of Starfleet's Dreadnought class, developed in secret with the help of Khan and operated by the shadowy Section 31. 11. Jumhatter Battleship. This Dominion warship is twice the size of a Galaxy-class starship, and 3 times as powerful. It proved to be a menace for the Federation and its allies during the course of Star Trek, Deep Space Nine. When employed by the Jumhatter, the military branch of the Dominion, the battleship was more than capable of engaging almost any Federation, Klingon, or Romulan vessel, and more often than not emerged victorious. 10. Xindi weapons. Thanks to being manipulated into believing that humans were evil and would destroy their future homeworld in the 26th century, the Xindi, an alliance of alien species, decided to send a large mobile particle beam superweapon to destroy Earth. 3 of these weapons were built, with the final weapon's goal being the complete destruction of Earth. The first one, merely a small prototype, bypassed Earth's defenses and used a powerful particle beam to cut a 4,000-kilometer swath of destruction from Florida to Venezuela, killing 7 million people before self-destructing. 9. Scimitar. The massive, heavily armed warship Scimitar was a unique reman-made variation on the classic Romulan warbird that appeared in the film Star Trek, Nemesis. The Scimitar was constructed by Shinzon as part of a plot to overthrow the Romulan Senate, appoint himself as Praetor, and start a war with the United Federation of Planets. It inflicted heavy damage on the USS Enterprise E and the forces of the Romulan Star Empire during what would become known as the Battle in the Basin Rift. 8. USS Defiant. This tough little ship, as Commander Riker once called it, was a turning point and a game-changer for the Federation. It was Starfleet's first warship and the prototype for the new Defiant class of vessels designed specifically for combat. Originally built and designed to fight the Borg, the Defiant was eventually assigned to Deep Space Nine to counter the new threat of the Dominion. From the perspective of the storyline, the appearance of the Defiant also marked the true opening of Star Trek, Deep Space Nine. 7. Borg Cube. Few vessels on Star Trek are as terrifying or iconic as the Borg Cube. As the primary vessel of the Borg Collective, every fight against one resulted in heavy loss of life. At the Battle of Wolf 359, 40 Federation ships engaged a single Borg Cube. Armed with the tactical knowledge of the recently assimilated Jean-Luc Picard, the Borg managed to destroy 39 of them in a matter of a few minutes. The battle became an infamous defeat in Federation military history. In the film Star Trek 6, Doomsday Machine, one of the most iconic vessels from Star Trek, TOS, the Doomsday Machine was a nameless, automated device capable of destroying entire planets. The aptly named Planet Killer literally ate planets, and ships, and pretty much anything else that it could fit into its maw, destroying planets with its anti-proton beam and fueling itself with a rubble. By the time the machine was encountered by the crew of the Enterprise in the episode The Doomsday Machine, it had already destroyed and consumed all 7 planets in System L370. 5. Whale Probe. This unknown cigar-shaped probe came to Earth in order to contact members of the long-extinct humpback whale species in the movie Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. Virtually any technology ceased to function when exposed to the communications the probe broadcasted. 7 ships, including 2 Klingon vessels, were disabled by its approach to Earth. The messages broadcasted into Earth's oceans were so powerful that they began vaporizing the oceans and ionizing the atmosphere of the planet, causing environmental disasters. 4. Nomad. Nomad is an Earth probe launched in 2002 that appeared in the TOS episode, The Changeling. During its mission, it lost contact with Earth and later merged with an alien probe called Tenru in deep space. The 2 machines merged into a small but powerful machine, which due to its faulty programming destroyed everything it labeled as imperfect, a category it extended to all organic life. 3. Species 8472 Bioship. One of the most memorable moments of Star Trek Voyager is the opening of the 2-part episode Scorpion, where off-screen Species 8472 bioships effortlessly destroy 2 Borg cubes. Species 8472 emerged as the first species able to carve through Borg ships like a hot knife through butter, and made a big impression on the Star Trek universe in doing so. Invading from fluidic space, the unnamed species used organic ships with biotechnology more advanced than anything the Borg had ever seen. 2. Kryndam Temporal Weapon Ship. The powers of this craft from Star Trek Voyager is virtually unlimited. Spearheaded by a Kryndam scientist named Anarax, the temporal weapon ship had the power to eliminate its targets from the space-time continuum entirely, even erasing entire species from history. It was first used against the Rilner, moral enemies of the Kryndam, but was also used against the Alshuran Empire, the Malkoth, the Zal, the Garenner, and the Ram-Izad. 1. Voyager. Yes, while 1979's Star Trek, the motion picture may not have been as glorious, there's no denying the awesome power of Voyager. Taking the form of a mysterious, menacing, luminous cloud the size of a solar system, Voyager was unlike anything the Enterprise crew, or the Federation in general, had ever encountered. By far the largest vessel ever portrayed on Star Trek, Voyager's ship was almost 300 million kilometers across. For comparison, the Death Star was around 160 kilometers, or 82 astronomical units in diameter, or 7.6 billion miles.